Hi, I'm Dan Hindes, and I'm here with Randy Pitchford, and we are playing Borderlands, the pre-sequel. Now, Randy, what is this that we are actually playing here? It's something new.
We're not merely playing Borderlands, the pre-sequel. You're playing as Handsome Jack.
We're playing as Handsome Jack.
You're playing as Handsome Jack. So the first DLC package that's going to come out for Borderlands, the pre-sequel, is this new character, which is letting you play as Handsome Jack for the very first time. And this will come out actually November 11th, so you're getting a sneak peek. We've pretty much wrapped everything up, but we're coming in for landing with this guy. And let me introduce you to him. Why don't we, in fact, do you mind if I take the mouse and keyboard and I'll introduce you to the skill tree, and then you can play. So first we're going to take a look at, let's use the skill browser here. So this is Handsome Jack, of course. And
now this is Jack before he's known as Handsome Jack, right?
Well, it takes place during the pre-sequel, which takes place before Borderlands 2, but after Borderlands 1. So it's before he becomes the CEO of Hyperion Corporation. But in fact, he has those ambitions. And Jack is, he's the main, I guess, NPC protagonist of the pre-sequel. So he's an NPC in the game, but you're playing as him. You might not exactly be playing as him. What Jack has done is he's made a body double.
Right.
And when I say he's made a body double, I mean he's taken a human being and he has surgically altered that person, changed their voice, changed their appearance, trained them to mimic the same mannerism.
Has he pinned his face on them? He's got a thing for pinning faces on things, right?
This is before he has his mask.
Yeah.
So that hasn't happened yet. The mask, the scar that was caused by the vault hasn't burned him yet. And his class here is called the Doppelganger. So this is, now one of the interesting things though, if you wanted to create, say, a body double for yourself, and you made it really obvious, that's the body double and I'm the real person,
it's kind of pointless, right?
Right. So unless you're lying. Unless you're lying, right? So which one's the real Jack?
So are you saying that we could go through this game and the NPC that we've been talking to, the Jack NPC, might not actually be the real Jack?
Could be. We're leaving that ambiguous. Yep. It's up to you to decide which Jack is the real Jack.
Okay.
I like to think that this playable Jack, this is the real Jack. So, but it's up to you, whatever you think is cool. Now, Jack has skills like any other hero in the game. So now that you're playing as Jack, you'll have an action skill. His is called Expendable Assets, and this allows him to spawn digistruct copies of himself that we call Digijacks. And so a couple of these guys will appear. They actually will attract the attention of the enemy. They can shoot. They can actually cause damage to the enemy. They can get kills. They're pretty rad. It's a really powerful special ability, and some of the skill trees will actually affect that, increase the capabilities of your Digijacks.
So when they spawn, do they have the same weapon as you?
Depends.
Yeah.
Depends. Most of the time they use the wrist rockets, but it depends on how you have the skills set up. For example, there's a skill, let me show you over here, in the Hero of the Story skill tree. Here's a skill called You Have My Shield that allows the Digijacks to get the same shield that you're using.
Gotcha.
So there's things like that throughout the skill trees. Now this particular skill tree here called the Hero of the Story is a really tanky kind of skill. You'll notice there's a lot of things that improve your shield's capabilities, improve health. This one allows you to shoot faster and have more benefits to your Digijacks if you have higher health, so they kind of go in line together. This increases your health and the health of the Digijacks and so on. The capstone on this guy is pretty rad. Basically, it turns your Digijacks into badasses.
Okay.
So, and you know what badasses are for play. And there's also a couple of things that help grenade. So if you like to play with grenades, this is a good skill tree to use. This is probably my favorite skill in the entire game. It doesn't actually do anything. It just allows him to monologue at you. So when you get this,
appropriate.
Yes. Yeah. So Jack, if you think Jack's funny or you just enjoy how much of an asshole he is, this is the skill for you, because you're definitely going to hear him rant a bit when you use that skill. This middle skill tree, the Greater Good, is a lot of fun. This one, I think this one's actually good if you're a noob, or if you're like really, really advanced. But it's, I mean, it's
those are two opposite things.
Yeah, total. And here's why. These two, the capstone and the one before it, potential, really work together. Now, of course, the main thing that's described here under potential is that when you spawn the digijacks, that they create a shock nova. But the real magic to this one is that you can now use your action skill when you're in fight for your life. So when you're down, when you're in your down state, you can actually trigger your action skill. And when you combine that with your capstone leadership, whenever a digijack dies, remember digijacks are spawned when you use that action skill. So whenever they die, it's as if you killed an enemy, which means all the things that happen when you kill an enemy are triggered, including getting a second wind.
So you can basically spawn copies of yourself, sacrifice them to get yourself back up.
That's correct.
Gotcha.
It's almost like a get out of jail free card. Now, the other thing you'll notice on the skill tree is there are 3 kill skills, right? Like we've never done that before. So if you have that capstone and killing your, when your digistruck dies, it's as if you killed something, that means all of your kill skills will proc.
Gotcha.
And 2 of them increase damage. That one increases crit and weapon damage. This one increases things like accuracy and reload and so on. And this is more defensive, but it also increases movement speed. So these things will be constantly proccing if you're using your action skill a lot of fun. Originally, this greater good skill tree was going to be our co-op kind of skill tree, and there's still a remnant of that. This is the accountability skill. Instead of reading all the text, I'll just let you know that if anybody gets hit that isn't you, you get a buff, and you get stacks of this buff. So you don't want to just hang back and like, go ahead, guys, you go jump in the fight, and let your co-op buddies take all the hits. It also works if your digijacks take damage. So.
It sounds like you've had a lot of fun bringing the thematic concept of Jack into the actual mechanics.
Oh yeah, in fact, speaking of that, like this other skill tree, Free Enterprise, this is another one of my favorite skills. Just pick up money and get a buff. Like you just click, because there's cash everywhere in boxes and toilets. Like I don't know why there's cash in toilets in Borderlands, but it just, that's what happens with the random loot system. So now, this is the first time we've put a mechanic on that. So whenever you collect cash as Jack, you get a buff. You can stack it up to 999 times, and you don't lose your stacks unless you die or unless you spend your money. So don't buy anything in the store, just hoard it, don't spend it, and you're good to go. This is a really fun skill tree too. Also, I think this one's really good for advanced players. You'll notice some kind of wacky stuff. This skill increases your weapon swap speed. Weapon swapping is really important with this particular tree. For example, if you swap weapons when you have incentives, your fire rate will increase. But it gets even wackier when you look at things like Company Man, where depending on the gear you have, if you have Hyperion gear, you get more buffs. So imagine you have, but imagine the Hyperion gun isn't your best one or most suitable, so you have it in your inventory, swap to it, get your buff, and then swap back out. And then this is even crazier. This is the capstone, sponsored by. The buff that you get is affected by the weapon you equipped last. So you will have different manufacturers in your skill tree. Hyperion will give you more accuracy, Jacobs gives you more damage, and so on and so on.
I like this. It seems like you're always trying to find ways to put more emphasis on the different manufacturers and find ways to make you pay attention to that.
He runs Hyperion Corporation, so he really cares about that, and this is kind of, we were playing with like his kind of free enterprise capitalistic kind of mentality, and we found ways to basically add skill to that and add gameplay to it. There's also this really cool skill if you've played the game and you remember him as an NPC. He had these like things on his wrist that allow him to like shoot enemies with it. Well, if you build out the Free Enterprise skill tree, this skill here called Merger lets you replace your melee attack with using those weapons. So you can actually, and if you get that, your Digistructs will use them too. So that's pretty cool. So if you like, why don't we chill for a minute while you go through here, and I'll let you build this guy out however you want.
I'm really liking the sound of the Free Enterprise tree.
It's a pretty good tree. All right. Yeah, and if you put in the minimum set, you'll definitely be able to get your capstone and have 5 or 6 points left over, so that you can, because we're starting you off at level 30 here. Don't overdo those though. You won't be able to.
We can get that one down there.
Yeah. So, and you can put more into
this one.
Well, yeah, you definitely take the melee replace. We got to see it. Watch his wrist when you take it. Watch his wrist.
There you go. Look at that.
Just adds on, so like he actually gets the augmentation. Yeah, Company Man's good. I'm not sure if we preloaded you with some Hyperion stuff. Oh, this is really cool too. The middle one there, that's laser surplus. It's kind of like inspired by how the BFG worked in Doom 2. So
it kills everything in the viewpoint?
Kind of, yeah, in the viewpoint. So like if you fire the ball out, it's not where the ball explodes.
Yeah.
When the ball explodes, it actually creates these invisible rays that come out from the player. That's the logic is a little bit odd there. So like imagine you fired the BFG ball down one hallway.
Yeah.
Before it hit, you ran down and are looking down a completely different hallway. Now the BFG hits there. If there's monsters in front of you in the hallway, they'll just melt in front of you. So this triggers in on a butt slam. So when you have a butt slam, the cone of lasers come out, but they're actually visible now. So you can just butt stomp in front of a group of guys and just melt a bunch of guys in front of you.
I don't think Borderlands has ever been too concerned with logic. So
yeah,
that seems fine.
It's fine. Don't ask too many questions.
Yeah.
Just go with it. It's cool. Everything's fine.
All right, there we go. Sponsored by.
Yeah. So now you can, and if you want, you have 5 skill points left, so you can try
illustrations.
some other things, or you can fill out the free enterprise some more. You won't be able to get beyond the first tier, but
You want to buff the digijacks a little bit.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. All right, you're ready to roll. And I believe Carl is in this game.
Carl Unterholzner.
So he's also going to play as Jack. So we're going to have twin Jacks, which means when each of you simultaneously create your Digistructs, your Digijacks, you're going to have 6 Jacks running around the map.
Are they going to resemble our customized appearance as well? Or?
Yeah. So you can, in fact, if you want to check out, I don't know if I should check. Go ahead. Go. Where's the somewhere in Concordia? Do you know? Yeah. So there's Digijacks. So go up to the chain station there, and let's check out the turn left. Use that vendor right there. You want to see some of the custom heads and skins because Jack's also got. There's a couple of them we've got on left here. So that one's like Bane, and there's it with a crown.
I think we're going to go with the crown.
There's lots that you can unlock too. So I'm kind of breaking the rules. I think I promised the PR folks we weren't going to show any of this stuff. But you know what? For you guys.
Okay, look, I got to go with the pun. So, you know. Nice.
Cyan, believe it. Is it cyan or cayenne?
Cyan.
Yeah. So it's a spelling pun.
So how do you think Jack plays in a group of the kind of existing Vault Hunters as well? Like what sort of role does he fill and what kind of play styles are you seeing people adopt?
If you really want to play with your teammates, I think the left skill tree is best. It really turns him into a very good tank class. You can attract a lot of the attention and really crowd control while your teammates grind everybody down. Mm-hmm. But you know, one of the things about Jack, he's got especially the middle skill tree and the skill tree on the right, they're really for advanced players. So when you really get good at them, you're going to be doing throughput that you just can't do with the other characters. But you have to, especially with free enterprise, you have to get really good at weapon switching and knowing what your loadout is. So you're doing that. And I think he's going to be preferred for guys that like to solo the hard stuff. The middle skill tree is a lot of, I think it's really useful if like you have a friend that you want to invite to play the game and you're playing split screen, because it's got so much survivability with that capstone. You know, just level up a character for him and then let him use one of your characters that you know, anytime he goes down, I'll just hit your action skill and you'll be all right. And that's kind of nice for new players that they might be dying a lot when they're playing with you.
I just swapped in a new weapon because I noticed we had 2 Jacobs guns, and so we want to get like one of each.
So now, and you can see the buffs happening down here as you switch weapons. Like, see that you just got a stack. You got another stack.
So I can just sit here and roll the mouse wheel.
Yeah, so now you got 4 stacks. It also shows you which so now it's Hyperion. So now that's Torg. And each one gives you a different buff. So when you have the Jacobs weapon up, for example, next time you cycle, now you have Jacobs. Next time you cycle, Jacobs is your buff. So that means you have 30% plus 30%
okay, so
weapon
it's the previous
damage.
weapon you
it's
just
the previous
had
weapon,
out.
right? So
Gotcha.
so this is a Hyperion weapon. So if you switch, you're going to get 30% accuracy. So now it says Hyperion, you're going to have 30% accuracy. And anytime you're curious what that table is, you can go back to your skill tree and look that up.
All right, let's take him for a spin. Where should we go?
Why don't we follow? Take us somewhere. Let's kill some stuff, man.
Come on, Carl.
It's hard to, like, going back and playing Borderlands 2 sucks now because I want to double jump and butt stomp stuff, and I hate not having that capability.
Does Jack have any skills specific to like the low growl or the laser weapons or the cryo weapons?
There are some capabilities you can add to your Digistructs that help them have some elemental effects like cryo and laser. He does have lots of laser effects. For example, you did equip the butt stomp one, so if you go and butt stomp on a guy, you'll have the cone of laser beams fly out from your body and kill dudes. Are you sure you're a mouse and keyboard player?
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, I gotta get back in the groove, okay?
It's all good, I'm just messing.
Alright.
Can't play a game like this without a little trash talk. Don't forget you can double jump. Yeah, you got it. Cool. And
You must be great. You're hanging out with me.
so he chose that other skill tree.
Yeah.
So now everybody's inspired. There's a bounty on that guy.
I noticed there's kind of a running theme with Jack and Claptrap as well that sort of gets up in other people's grills and kind of not just ruins their game, but sort of throws them off for a second.
Oh man, the Claptrap character is just like, if you've ever played a game with 4 Claptraps, like it's just insane because you don't know what's going to happen when he uses his action skill. So, but I'll tell you, sometimes they throw people off, but if you get players that really know the game well and know what each of the action skills do, you can get really effective by taking advantage of whatever happens to randomly happen with Claptrap. For example, a lot of people don't like the bounce one because you're like kind of out of control bouncing everywhere, but basically it's free infinite butt stomps.
Yeah.
Right? So your butt stomp immediately launches you back up in the air again for another butt stomp. So, Jack's got a little bit of that kind of stuff. If you get multiple Jacks in a game, like just having somebody to destruct Jacks out. There you go. You just... So now they're going to go after Digijacks. And notice how your Digijacks have the arm weapons because you equip that skill. So what's cool about them is when they die, the new one will spawn right away, like as long as it's active. You can also hold down your action skill button again and
bring them back.
Release it and you'll get some of your cooldown back.
Oh, great.
So now your cooldown's already ready again.
Let's go and use some of my melee.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Whoa!
Isn't that cool?
That is awesome. That is that's a lot more range than I was expecting.
Yes. It's no longer a melee weapon, but like the most badass wrist laser ever. Yeah.
So that cooldown is that middle icon there for that?
Yeah. So you're gonna melee until it's back, so you can see your buffs. So they're on the bar above your experience bar.
This'll be good.
Now the stack of 17 that I have there, that's the
that's your cash.
That's your cash.
So you've gotten 17 stacks from collecting cash. If you buy anything or die, you'll lose those stacks.
Okay.
And each stack gives you a little bit of a buff.
So you're going to be that guy in the party that's like, hey man, could you buy this for me? And
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Actually, I don't know if it resets if you trade. So you could trade somebody, give them your cash, and have them buy the item for you. That's funny. That might be a loophole. I will have to patch that. You just made me think of something. Exploits.
Speaking of exploits, I mean, like I saw the video of one of the characters taking down the secret boss in a single hit.
Yeah.
With a certain sort of variety of
that guy min-maxed the crap out of the game. Yeah.
Do you see that as an exploit, or is it something that's just like, well, whatever?
You can find me on record even before we ship Borderlands 1 saying, like, when you make a game like this where you have procedurally generated weapons and you have, like, a really insane combination of skills, those kinds of edge cases are going to exist. Like there's all kinds of weird edge cases that happen just from what can be generated by the weapon system. We just said, so what? If you find a game-breaking gun, good for you. Like you win. You have the I win button now. Go ahead and have fun killing everybody. And there's some people that at Gearbox that kind of disagree with that, but so far we've only really patched things when functionality has been wrong.
Gotcha.
So like when we patched the B shield, it was because it was actually not working the way it was supposed to, not because we were trying to nerf something. There are plenty of almost game-breaking things that you can find in Borderlands, and all power to you. It's part of the fun of farming, it's the possibility of finding that weird stuff.
Never limit yourself.
There you go. Inspired. Oh shoot, that guy just butt stomped. Look, your jacks are just killing him. That's good because you seem to miss old knobs. Just messing with you.
It's very helpful, yeah. I think I'll go.
Don't forget you
can
you can do your butt stomp thing. Also, your lasers are up.
Are they teleporting along with you?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they don't actually move?
They'll respawn when they get out of range of you. When they die, they'll respawn. Really, I don't know. I love those space helmets on these guys. The Digistruct oxygen bubbles. Like, it was actually one of the guys on the 2K Oz team that came up with that, and I was just like, "You're a damn genius!" Whoa, did you see that? You've got laser shotgun, dude. Look at that thing.
That's cool.
Oh, that Torg weapon's really sick. And your accuracy is really improved right now, so.
It's because it's you know a wider spread.
Yeah, no, it's a Hyperion thing too. You got better accuracy, so it's actually narrowing the spread even more, and it's.
What is Jack's opinion of Australians?
I don't know, man. I mean, well, first of all, actual Australians don't exist in Jack's world, right? There are, Earth doesn't even exist in this universe. But as far as like the inhabitants of the moon, at times he kind of uses them and needs them to help what he's trying to accomplish. So I guess the kind of allies. But I mean, he's so narcissistic and sociopathic that once you become a problem or not aligned with his goals, it doesn't matter where you're from or who you are. Yeah, I thought, given that a huge percentage of our customer base is really narcissistic and sociopathic, it was time to finally give them a player character they can identify with.
Did you? Well, you made a game about collecting loot for yourself. So
yeah, no, not merely.
That doesn't really surprise
Not
me.
merely collecting loot, but killing people and taking their loot. Like we had to build a universe where you were a hero for killing people and taking their shit. Like that's where we started. And it's kind of funny how like. Yeah, it's kind of funny how after you play the pre-sequel, you're not even sure who the good guys are anymore. That's because there aren't any real good guys.
Yes.
After the pre-sequel, God, I don't think I like Lilith anymore. It's like, yeah, she just really enjoyed incinerating people. Like, she's not exactly the greatest person. She's super cool. I like her. And we're back. You got a challenge for starving yourself of oxygen for so long.
It's something I like to do on weekends.
Hey, Saturday nights, man. Whatever gets you there. I'm not judging.
How else do you think the money ends up in the toilet?
Oh God. Do you want a job writing for this game? Because I think you might. Like, that's just right in line.
Yeah.
Oh man. I'm gonna call Anthony. Sorry, dude, you got competition. There are actually 3 writers on the pre-sequel. Anthony wrote a bunch of the stuff for the characters that we had in the games in the past, and there's an Aussie writer that did all the Australian characters.
Well, you've got to have them authentic, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not Australian, so I don't know, but since I've been over here, I've had people go, usually when Americans do Australian characters, they're always freaking stupid, but like, you guys are nailing it. There's actually a gun. You guys have something called what is it, a bogan?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, we do have that.
So there's a bogan gun that just.
Oh, Boganella.
Yeah. No, there's a gun, a weapon that talks,
Yeah.
and it just cusses at you, and he's just a complete dick. It's hilarious.
That is actually.
I'm like,
quite
this
authentic,
this is so good. Like when I got it for the first time, it's really been neat working on this game too, because a lot of the effort's happening here in Australia with the 2K Australia team. It's like I get to play a lot of the content kind of like with customer eyes. Where the first time I'm seeing something isn't because it's part of design group or whatever, but because someone made it and I'm looking at it. And when I first got the bogan gun, man, I just lost my shit. That was the funniest thing. So I don't even have that as part of our culture. Like, I've never heard of a bogan before.
You're just gonna have to take their word for it. It's like, that's a thing. Don't worry.
I guess so.
So when it came to making Jack as this DLC character, like, obviously Gearbox is the one that knows him the most, right?
Yeah.
How
we actually did almost all of the work on Jack at Gearbox. So it's been a really interesting collaborative effort. When we first started the pre-sequel, we had just had a handful of folks on that were really the franchise director and Anthony, and just a really like high-level creative kind of overview. But then, and all of the main actual development work was 2K Australia.
Yeah.
And in fact, as the game kind of went on, we really were liking where it was going. A lot of our guys just wanted to add stuff and jump involved. So by the time we got to beta, I think there were like twice as many people at Gearbox working on the game as were at 2K Australia. So it was really fun that we got a chance to get in there, and not because they needed our help, but just because we wanted to do stuff and make the game. Yeah. And the game was getting really good too, so we wanted to make it bigger, and some of our guys had some fun ideas for what they wanted to do with the landscape and the moon, because we had never worked in this environment before. So a lot of our creatives just wanted to jump in and do it. But now that we've shipped the game and we're working on DLC, the 2K Oz team is, I love this part, that effect is so cool. The lava bridge freezes. Some fluid dynamics courtesy of NVIDIA. That's actually simulated on the graphics card.
What kind of liquid even is that?
I don't know. It's some weird cryo stuff that's evaporating as it's flowing. It's weird stuff. It's space liquid, man. Come on.
Space liquid. Okay. Yeah,
space juice.
Yeah.
That makes lava cold instantly. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah. So on the DLC, so the 2K Australia guys are just neck deep, all in on this campaign DLC that's going to come a little later.
Yeah.
And so we've been working on, we worked on Jack, and we've been working on another character, and we've been helping with, there's 4 DLC packages that are part of the season pass, so we've been helping with 3 of the 4, and 2K Australia is just all in on the campaign, and I can't talk about it yet because it's like we're still. Yeah. But dude, the concept is so fucking genius. I can't wait to talk about it. Oh man, and those guys, I don't even know what to expect because we're not directing it ourselves. The 2K Australia guys are going for it. The concept just blew me away though. I heard I think I heard 4 pitches from 2K Australia and probably 6 from Gearbox people. And this one, it was a 2K Australia pitch. It's just so obviously so far and above anything I'd ever heard before.
The DLCs have always been really, really strongly
because we don't care, right? Yeah. We don't have to follow the same rules. We don't have to be commercial. We can just say, screw it, let's do weird crap that no one would ever do in a game.
I think the Tiny Tina D&D one is still the peak of that.
That is the high watermark. To be honest, though, we kind of cheated. We spent way more. We put a full game budget on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's no it'll never be profitable. That particular DLC, but we didn't care because everything else is so good, and we'd been way more successful with the main game that we thought.
Yeah.
Let's just go all in and make sure the last DLC is just the best DLC we've ever made, the best DLC anyone's ever made.
I'm enjoying this laser so much.
It's really rad.
Really
it's
cool.
super gratifying. It just melts dudes. I'm glad you picked that skill tree because it's really gratifying to use that.
Cool, right. Let's just take this last guy out, and then I think we will call it there.
All right, man. Yeah, this
down.
There we go. Yeah, in the last DLC, when we get to announce it, you'll see too. We're kind of doing the same, nutball, want to close out that season pass we did with the Tina DLC. We'd do something really crazy and over the top, and really fun and big. So
awesome.
So you've just now you're among probably I can probably count on one hand the number of people outside of the 2K and Gearbox Studio that have played as Jack, and you're amongst them now.
Did all of them go with the crown? Because I think that's going to be...
you're the only guy that's played with the crown. In fact,
I think
you're the only guy. In fact, you're the only guy I showed the heads and skins to that started unlocked. Now you'll collect a lot more heads and skins, of course, as you play the game. There's really some really funny stuff. But
cool.
Yeah, so I broke multiple rules with you, but whatever.
So
it's coming out. It's coming out on the 11th. It's not like this is the longest drawn out tease or whatever. November 11th is when
November 11th.
Actually.
In Australian time?
No, see, that's funny because when it's November 11 in the United States, it's going to be November 12th here.
Yeah.
So it's going to launch at the same time worldwide, but your calendar will say 12 and mine will say 11. So
that's right. We're used to that.
Good catch.
Yeah.
Good catch.
And what is the actual name of the DLC pack?
I think we're calling it the Doppelganger pack, or the Handsome Jack Doppelganger pack, or just Handsome Jack, or it'll be something like that. So when you see it on like PlayStation Network or on the Xbox Marketplace or on Steam, it'll be called something like that: Doppelganger, Handsome Jack, Character Pack, something like that. And if you have the season pass, it's included.
Yeah.
So the season pass will give you all 4 DLC packages, but it only costs the price of 3. So it's a pretty good deal if you haven't gotten that yet.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining me.
I'm really glad to be here.
DLC pack.
Cheers, right on.
For more on Borderlands, the pre-sequel, and the Doppelganger pack, check out GameSpot.com.